like this. 2,000 years ago, this felt good to me this morning. 2,000 years ago, more than 2,000 years ago. Let me suggest this first. I woke up this morning feeling sick, feeling exhausted in my body because I was building a cross yesterday. And I told somebody, I said, the reason I'm building this cross is because I want to feel what Jesus felt. Why did I ask for that? Because this morning, I'm an early bird. I can hit the floor 2, 3, 4 in the morning, no problem. But this morning I rolled out of bed and I was weak and exhausted in my body. Text somebody and say, hey, look, I'm about to go back to sleep. Make sure you text me and call me at 10:30 so I'm not late to church. I was exhausted in my body. And I could not figure out why. I'm never like this, Always got energy in the morning. But mother, I had asked Jesus yesterday with the proclamation of my words, let me feel what you felt. And it wasn't until I got in this service that the weight was finally, y'all ain't gonna help me, that it was finally lifted off of me. You got to be careful what you ask the Lord for. Some of you asking God for a husband and you ain't even ready. Y'all ain't gonna help me. Some of you asking for more money and you can't even manage what you got right now. But here it is, more than 2,000 years ago, my brothers and sisters, the story is told of an African descendant brother with dark bronze skin, long dreadlocks, red bloodshot eyes, and purple lips. And the story suggests that this brother began to journey from Jericho to Jerusalem, riding on a C-Class 550 donkey. And as he made this journey from Jericho to Jerusalem on Sunday, Palm Sunday, it says that on Monday he stopped by the house of Mary and Martha in Bethany. And the story suggests while Martha was in the kitchen whipping up the collard greens, ham hocks, cornbread, mac and cheese, y'all know I'm hungry, potato salad, that Mary was at his feet worshiping him and anointing his body with oil. Said that this brother stayed overnight all night Monday. Woke up early Tuesday before anybody could cook breakfast. Went to a fig tree, a little bit hungry in his tummy, and asked the fig tree for some fruit. And when the fig tree couldn't produce fruit, he got upset and cursed the fig tree and said, you will never produce fruit for anybody else again. And the story says that as he journeyed from the fig tree, he called up his 12 executives and said, let's get out of here. We got places we got to go because we got to stay on the journey. Says later Tuesday he arrived into a city and he saw at the temple that the people were in there hustling other folk. Church folk were hustling other poor people, trying to get money out of them. And I believe personally that he was still a little bit hungry and mad at the fig tree because he hadn't had nothing to eat. And y'all know how us people of African descent get when we ain't had no food. I believe he was still a little bit upset when he got to the temple. And the Bible suggests that he went up in the temple flipping over tables and kicking over bird cages and stirring up confusion within the religious leaders. By that time, the story says that the 12 executives came in and said, hey, Doc, calm down. Let's just go lay down. So they went and laid down for the rest of Tuesday. And on Wednesday, he woke up that morning and let them know, hey, I still got some issues, so y'all just take hump day off. So the rest of the 12 executives went into the town, and one of them went into the town, the treasurer, with the money bag in his hand, started gambling and shooting dice and lost all the money. So then he had to figure out a way to try to get the money back. This is just my story, y'all. So when he tried to get the money back, he started then giving up this guy. For 30 silver measly coins, he sold him out and betrayed him, and he ran around the city acting as if he had done something. So as the moon went down on Wednesday, then Holy Thursday came, and the Bible suggests to us that on Holy Thursday, they woke up that morning around brunch time, had a little meal, sat down at Martha's Restaurant Cafe, and had a meal, and what this brother told him is that this meal will be different. He said, whenever you have this meal, make sure you do this meal in remembrance of me. He says, whenever you break the bread, just think of my body. Whenever you break it, whenever you sip the wine, just think about my blood. And could you imagine the 12 executives sitting around looking crazy, trying to figure out why is he telling us this story? And then the brother says to the 12 execs, I'm telling you this because I may not be with you much longer. And then as they got up from the table Thursday evening, he gave them a task. He told them, he said, hey, keep watch, keep your eyes open. But like many of us, they failed the task because they got a little restless and got a little sleepy, got a little tired, so they fell asleep. And while they were sleeping, he slid over to the Garden of Gethsemane, sent a text message on his iPhone 6 to his father and said, Father, can this cup pass me by? And after a brief hesitation, his father sent the text message back and said, son, some things in life you just got to go through. Just stay on the journey. And by that time, the son looked back and sent another text message back to the father. And he said, well, Father, not my will, but your will be done. And before the little blue part and deliver could come up on the text message iPhone, people, y'all know what I'm talking about. The Greco-Roman soldiers came marching into the garden, being led by the treasurer named Judas. Judas stepped up to this African brother, kissed him on the cheek to signify that this is the one. And I can only imagine that Peter, the thug of them all, pulled out his piece right about then and fired off on one of them. But Jesus said, nah, let them do what they got to do. And I believe at that moment that they arrested Jesus, put his hands behind his back, making it look like how our young brothers are being arrested by the court martial today, carried off into the prison system. Y'all ain't saying nothing, for mass incarceration, even when they're innocent. I can see him being arrested. They took him before the Sanhedrin council. When he got before the council, y'all ride with me, the council said, we're bringing you up on 2 charges. One charge is we're claiming and charging you with blasphemy because you're calling yourself the King of the Jews, the Son of God. And the second charge is tax evasion because you told the people they didn't have to pay taxes. Well, what do you got to say about yourself, sir? And the story suggests that he didn't say what my grandmama said, not a mumbling word. And because he was silent, one of the egotistic Roman soldiers slapped him across the face. And they began to insult him and merely talk about him and tell him how disgraceful he was. And then one of the jokers, arrogant and conceited, had the audacity to spit disrespectfully in his face. But because he didn't say anything, they turned him over to the Roman emperor by the name of Pilate. And the Bible suggests that Pilate wrestled all night Thursday in his bed, tossed and turned because he was unsure if the brother was guilty or innocent. Says that he showed up that Friday morning before the people, the same Negroes from Toledo that had been celebrating him on Friday. He showed up before him and said, hey, this brother is innocent. But as we do sometimes, they said, no, crucify him. Pilate stood up and said, well, you know, according to our law, on Passover, we can release at least one of them. But they said, don't release him, you can release Barabbas. The text lets us know that at that moment, they dropped the crown with 72 thorns down in his skull. Then they got him, put a cross on his back. And the Bible suggests that as he had the cross on the back, he stumbled. And I love the way the old Baptist preacher said, he didn't go to the place of skull, but he went up the hill called Calvary. And it suggests that as he was going up the hill called Calvary, that the Greco-Roman soldiers took an instrument that they call a flagrum, which was simply a ball with sharp thorns curved on the end of it. And they suggest that they hit him on one side, and they hit him on another side, and he began to fall. But the first lick only made blood leak out because it only hit the skin level veins. But as they continued to beat him and beat him, the Bible suggests that his blood started flowing out. And for some of you real sanctified folk, if the blood had not leaked out for you and for me, the Bible suggests that he began to get whipped for your transgressions and your iniquities. And some say that he took 39 stripes. But that's only according to Jewish law. But because he was turned over to the Roman citizens, it suggests that the licks were unrestricted. And as he poured across and made his way, being beaten, being laughed at, being talked about, being disgraced, being brought down, being torn apart, the Bible lets us know that they began to put the stake in the ground. And for us sanctified folk, we know that if he be lifted from the earth, he'll draw all men unto him. And it suggests that on Friday, after he stuttered 6 words, he began to hang his head. The old Baptist preachers say they hung him high, stretched him wide. He hung his head, and then he died. He said, "It is finished," and he gave up his life. So Satan got on his phone, started calling all the demons. Because on Saturday, they put him in a nice tomb and slid him in the cave. So Satan called all his partners, and the demons and Satan were having a party. They were twerking and jerking, twerking and jerking. They were popping the bottles of Ciroc and passing the Cavassier. They were celebrating because they thought they had him. They said, "We couldn't get him with Adam and Eve. We couldn't get him with Cain killing Abel. We couldn't get him with Abraham. We couldn't get him with Isaac and Jacob. We couldn't get him with Saul, Solomon, and David. We couldn't get him with all of them, but we got him now." But as the moon went down on Saturday, they say early Sunday morning, Mary, the sister, the woman, the female, felt something wrong in her body, jumped into her clothes, and took off sprinting like Flojo in the Olympics, down to the cave. And what she realized is that the stone was rolled away. So Mary stepped in the cave looking. She could not find the 6'2" frame. But what she noticed was some residue left. So Mary pulled out an iPhone 6, took a picture, and uploaded it to Instagram. And by the time the picture hit Instagram, Satan woke up out of his bed, still hungover from the night before, because he thought that he had defeated him. And he did like most of us. Before we do anything, he checked his Instagram. And when he seen the meme on his Instagram read, "The journey is not over because he got up." So Satan said, "Wait, call all the demons in. Call the demons from the church. Tell them to come on. Call the demons from your job. Tell them to come on." And as the demons grabbed and surrounded the table, Satan said, "Wait a minute. Check your Instagram and make sure what I'm seeing is not true." But the demons all checked their Instagram. And when they saw the same meme that said, "The journey's not over because he got up." And I don't know who I'm talking to in this place on today, but some of us have had to travel the yellow brick road. Some of us have had to go through haters and naysayers. Some of us have been seemingly slapped and spit in our face. Some of us have been flogged in our side. Some of us have been beaten down by life and by our jobs. Some of us have been hurt by spouses and hurt by children. But this is how your story should end. The journey is not over because he got up.